Hey, love fam. We're making a video on location at the Solstice site. So we think we're going to put this up on YouTube, but it's definitely going to be on our galactic astrology page. And we want to give you a surround right now of what we're looking at. So we're in South Woodstock, and I'll post a picture in the comments of the geometry that this makes. In 2016, this temple held the light of the galactic central sun. So we had alignments on the winter solstice with the galactic central sun in 1980, in 1998, in 2012, in 2016. And then we moved out of the galactic plane, but on that day I was here and I put a crystal in the back of the temple so that the crystal holds that light. And I know Lindsay's going to show you, see that light back there? So on the winter solstice, the light comes from the galactic central sun, and where that candle is, oh my gosh, an orb just, oh my gosh. Well, yeah, so we've got some visitors here with us today, and in my other YouTube videos, you can see whole pillars of blue and purple light in there with me. So this is very exciting to be here today because our alignments coming up, we've just passed the great attractor by opposition, and always in, you can sit down with me, Lindsay, if you want. Always in the solstices, we make an alignment with the galactic central sun, and this one is by opposition. Every solstice will be at 26 degrees, and that's either Gemini or Sagittarius by opposition. So we're going to talk about the sun today and our purpose for being on the planet right now. I also have a video this morning for the on conversion that's going to happen this June 13th for the new moon, and that is a central star in the Orion belt that makes an hourglass figure, and that central star is a major energy converter from duality back to oneness. So for those of you who can look at that on the Lalita astrology page, I'll also get that up on the YouTube channel that is Lalita Karoli. But for today, we're just going to continue with our teachings for astrology. And I want to start this section with, why are you on the planet? So often when people start their astrology session with me, they have very specific questions. Some people want to know their mission. Some people want to know where to live. Some people want to know about their relationship or their career. And I'm going to take it much broader than that right now. So let's talk about the photon belt and the ascension of Gaia. So we're in the photon belt, and this is activating our sun. It's very clear that our sun is flashing X-class flares. At the same time, every 25,920 years, our galactic central sun has a heartbeat which releases the plasmic light. Even smaller than plasma is a particle called tachyons, which is like the heart, and the heartbeat from the galactic central sun will be released. Now Gaia has already prepared the ascension. Our sun is already prepared for the ascension. And in the 0-point field, it's actually already happened. So Gaia has already ascended. Our sun has already had a solar flash. And one way that you can understand this is that it's all happening now. So there is not really a linear past, and there is not really a linear future. Everything that's going to happen and everything that ever happened is still happening now. So in 2016, I also did what's called a time loop forward in the now moment to the moment of solar flashing, and with a group of 200 people. We all imprinted what it was like at the moment of solar flashing. And then in my body, I held that imprint very strongly and was virtually levitating for the next month. So it felt like my body had gone light body and I was floating above the ground. A incredible white fire was going through my body for about a month. It was very hard to get my feet on the ground, to the point where it was embarrassing. Like, I was trying to figure out how to go to the library to go to my cosmic disclosure group, and I was like trying to put my feet down on the ground. So this is just some of the realization and the excitement of what it's like. During my yoga classes, I'm already experiencing this incredible gratitude for having a physical body and a breath and the ability to feel and taste and be in this earthly body, because I'm realizing that very soon our bodies will be converted to light, to the solar cosmic Christ, and that our union with that soul code that is the divine human is online, has happened, is happening now, and has already happened. Okay, so that's how to get to 0 point. So we're going to talk about why we are here, and then talk about the sun in your natal chart. So all of us are magnetizing a very important piece that Gaia needs for her ascension. And let me explain to you what Gaia would look like if we, the starseeds, were not here on the planet. So the planet was polarized negatively. And it was polarized by a group that was created by Source that had a malevolent energy, and it was carrying out its purpose. Without the starseeds being born, that would have imprinted from the galactic central sun, the malevolent energy, the continuation of the duality templates, so that we, as volunteers, the starseeds, started incarnating as late as the well, actually, it was the late 1930s, as early as the 1940s. And we're going to send out a recording this week of what I call a first waver, who was born in the 1940s, and listen to her chart reading and the incredible gratitude that we have to the first wavers who came to begin the process of adding our light, our very high frequency ascended beings who came down through the dimensions to anchor this light for this conversion of Gaia's back to oneness, back to a potentially 6D planet. So the heartbeat from the galactic central sun would have come whether we were here or not, because it comes, okay? Alpha Centauri just went through this same photon belt in 2017, and you can look this up and find out more. What happens is the star itself gives off its full corona and then changes the template. So our sun is going to do that too, and it's very exciting, and we're all pure conduits for that change. And the anchoring of the highest vibration that we can possibly hold will give Gaia her next expression, because it's really our frequency that sets up the next processional age. So that being said, part of what your chart is like, how can you be as high frequency as possible for the ascension of Gaia? Now let's play this another way. If none of us were here, no humans, no other humanoid beings, and just the whales and the dolphins and the horses and the elephants, which all vibrate at 6D to 9D, if they were here, then the galactic template that's set when the flash came from our sun and from the galactic central sun would be basically a restoration of Tiamat, like a 6D paradise planet. So whether we're here or not is really irrelevant to what the galactic central sun is doing, in that it always releases this heartbeat. So given that, where your sun's position is in your chart is your intelligence, your willpower, and your soul's purpose to what you are offering to Gaia's ascension. So our sun is our spiritual intelligence, and wherever it is in your chart, by sign, by house, and then by aspect is very much your mission of what you're doing here. The most important thing, of course, is the ascendant, because that gives you the life breath and the vitality to complete wherever your sun is, by sign, by house, and by aspect. So when you look at your chart and look at the sun and what sign it's in, you basically create a phrase. And the key words from each of those are the phrase, or like the language that you speak, just like putting together words in French and conjugating verbs and so forth and making the sentence complete. You use the sun. Keywords are: my spiritual intelligence is expressed. And then by sign. And I'll just use mine because my brain works fastest there. As a Sagittarius who seeks the truth, who shoots for the stars, who enjoys adventures, who loves to ride horses, is very outgoing and outdoorsy, and receives that higher truth through her body. And then by house. In the third house, for me, it's by study and communication. I express that spiritual intelligence of our sun. By aspect, it is conjunct Venus, which is like the love of, the heart of, that communication, that study. And in Sagittarius, those 2 points are conjunct fixed stars, Antares, and the galactic center, so that my 2 luminaries, my benefic Venus and my sun, express a very long phrase of what it is that I'm doing here on the planet. So now I don't want to put Lindsay on the spot.
But you will.
so now let's see how this would work in your chart.
Can you grab my, sorry.
Yeah. So Lindsay's first piece on this is the sun, is how we express our spiritual intelligence.
Thank you. Yeah, so I express my spiritual intelligence, and the first is the house,
or by sign, yeah.
In Libra, which is very fair-minded, peace-seeking, balancing. It's an air sign, so it's
expression.
Yes, expression, and it's cardinal, so it begins things, and it's in my 4th house, which is the house of home and origins, and family and ancestry. So the spiritual expression of the Libra sun in that house. It's conjunct with Jupiter and Saturn. So Jupiter is expansive, and Saturn is it brings in the structures, which is interesting because that seems kind of, well, that's an interesting question because my sun is conjunct with Jupiter, but it's conjunct with Saturn, but Saturn and Jupiter are not conjunct with each other. So I would read that as my spiritual purpose is expansive, so it happens in my home with my family, and it happens with bringing my ancestry to the present moment, and also with my star family and my newfound star seed family on this earth. And then I would read it as I use structures to help with that mission.
Very good. So you notice that Lindsay brought even more elements than I did. So she used Libra as air, Libra as cardinal, and then she brought in the other planets because she has a stellium in that 4th house. So then the stellium also means that sometimes she needs to go from that house up to the career house and get a little break from all the discipline and structures and expansion and transformations that are happening in her own home, where she also has Ceres, like Mother Bear, always like looking after everything and nurturing things. And then she will shift up by opposition to her 10th house of career, which she's doing right now. And Eris is there kind of breaking frequency loops. And these videos are very much like changing the frequency of astrology and upgrading it to multidimensional Earth perspective and why we're here. So good, Lindsay. Do you feel like that's a good explanation of your son?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, and she also brought in home and family, but also ancestry and origins. So it might be your particular home. It might be healing ancestral lines within your 4th house home. And it can also be realizing your star origins and your ancestry and realizing within your home, like when ships are coming to your house because you've placed yourself in Vermont, where ships are often here because we have all this nature and open skies where ships are coming all the time. And we also have in the comments for you, we're going to show you the arcome structure of the geometric lines of where we're sitting right now. So that's magnetized in Lindsay's 4th house of this actual place, Vermont, being a home place where she's bridging those star family aspects with the home and family and possibly children that are of the DNA that is the diamond platinum codes. So this is a lot of talk, and what you're going to need to do is have this same level of talking about where your sun is and what it means in your chart. So the first level is that we're all on planet Earth as star seeds to do this conversion back to a paradise wisdom planet of Gaia Sophia, of the crystalline, light-bodied solar cosmic Christ being. So that's first and primary. And if anything else is starting to, concern you, please get the really big cosmic version of why we're on this planet, why Lindsay and I incarnated into this place that has the solstice alignments. And around here, which we may or may not be able to show you, there are many standing stones that make these incredible alignments with the stars. And the video that I made this morning about the on conversion and that in the stars, those alignments are also placed here on the planet. We're sitting at one of those major galactic central sun temples that magnetize whoever was standing in this structure in 2016, which I and a group of ascension-minded people were standing in here singing and bringing in this golden column of light from the galactic central sun, and it hit the back wall. That vibration magnetized, again, the choice for this planet to ascend. So every day, please be a pure conduit for ascension. Wherever your sun is, think of it as this is the place that I am the pure conduit for ascension. And I'm telling you, where you live and what your dog's name is, I mean, folks, please do not get caught up in the 3D stuff of planning for your retirement, because whatever that stuff is, get into your creator mode and have this very cosmic view of what your sun is and why you're here. So we're going to put this up in the notes. My sun, the spiritual intelligence, and you can add your version of what the sun means, because this is our collective deciding on what the sun means. I mean, I'm leading this discussion, but that's just because that's very much my vertex and my mission here. But you can also tell us what the sun means and what your understanding is, because we're all co-creating this together. So I want to just read to you a few things about the sun. In addition to the sign, the house, and by aspect, we talked about the moon in the last video. The sun rules your head and your thinking, your right eye, and your heart. The sun is a domicile lord in Leo, meaning that in Leo, the sun has all its strength. It has a lot of that spiritual intelligence, the incredible wah and power of the lion. So that's where it's domicile lord. It's an exaltation in Aries. So Aries is also super fiery. And if you have sun in Aries, you have a lot of that striking, fiery Aries energy. The element of the sun is gold. Okay, so when you really want to connect to the sun, any bit of gold, or the galactic central sun also, any bit of gold that you can touch or hold. So if your sun is somehow aspected in a way that it's in detriment, you want to get as much gold into your life as you can. Now the moon, which we talked about last week, is very much magnetized by selenite, pearls, red coral, any of the opals and moonstones. So for the moon, I have the pearls and the red coral because my moon is in detriment in Capricorn, as I talked about last week. So if your sun is aspected in any way where you don't feel like you can really get your soul's fire and your spiritual intelligence on this planet, get yourself a little gold bracelet or some gold earrings or a piece of gold that's in a geometry like, it'd be expensive, but to get it in a flower of life, that will energize the sun in your chart. And at some point, Lindsay and I will get into herbs and all different kinds of things that also go with the planets. And I know this group has a lot of knowledge of that kind of alchemical, how to do things on certain days and magnetize certain energies with plants also. And one of you has a whole business already of putting certain crystals inside of candles and your balms and things that energize certain energies. And I looked at your site. That's just amazing. We totally have an amazing group here. So the day of the sun is Sun Day. How amazing is that? The day of the sun is Sunday. The day of the moon is Mun Day or Moon Day. So these are some of the esoteric things that we also have applied in our social cultural civilizations to energize the energy of the sun in our own charts. Now, I personally do sun salutation and moon salutation and hatha yoga, and I'm always doing like years and years of spiritual practice of talking to the sun, bringing that sun into my heart, animating it into my solar plexus, particularly because Manipur, the city of jewels, is this fiery son of God. I am the son of God. I am the son of God. And when you open up Manipur and that city of jewels starts to sparkle, then the Kundalini rises to the higher chakras. So basically, Kundalini sits dormant at first and second chakra. And then when you open Manipur, it goes boom, bang, and it slams your solar plexus. And this happened to me in my 20s. And then it radiates out through your heart, spreads through your arms and hands, goes up your throat chakra, through your third eye, radiates out to the crown, and your whole body might be spinning and vibrating. And that is because your solar plexus, the city of jewels, the son of God, has been activated. And it's very much your willpower. Wherever your sun is, where it's in the third house or the fourth house or the fifth house, sixth, maybe it's in the ninth house. I know one of you has a stellium in the ninth house with sun in the ninth house. Then your willpower, your strength is in the house of divination, divine university, mystery schools, oracles, dream interpretation, astrology. That's all like where your willpower, your sun must really relate, and you do your mission here. It is the heart, the spinal cord, the blood circulation, the solar plexus, as I just talked about, the respiratory system. Prana, the major life force, comes from the sun, and when the ascension happens, has happened, is already happening, is happening now, all of our DNA will activate. And the very exciting thing for the star seeds is that you will have all your memories. So, we're starting to have our memories of where we came from and who our star family is, but suddenly you will have all of your galactic memories and you will know who you are because all your DNA will be lit up. So every day, get out there and be a conduit for the sun. Say, sun, I see you. I am a pure conduit for the ascension, particularly because we have this incredible stargate with the on conversion of Al-Nilam on June 13th, and then by June 21st, we have direct alignment with the galactic central sun. So how's that for sun?
Perfect. Do you have any questions?
All right, we'll stop there. Thank you, loves.